US investigators are looking to talk to Goldman Sachs Inc. about whether the bank broke the law by turning a blind eye to a suspicious transaction in Malaysia. Citing sources, the Wall Street Journal reported that US law officials are scheduling interviews with Goldman executives about a bond issuance it handled for 1MDB to the tune of $3 billion. Goldman then sent the money to a Swiss bank account, half of which vanished offshore, only to be later found in PM Datuk Najib Razak's bank account. According to WSJ, in particular, investigators are probing as to whether Goldman's had failed to comply with the US Bank Secrecy Act, which mandates that financial institutions report suspicious activities to regulators. WSJ pointed out that among the red flags raised were that the $3 billion was transferred to a Singapore branch of a small US private bank instead of a large global one. And the timing of the bond sale, rushed as it was, 2 months before the general election. Just to clarify, Goldman has not been accused of any wrongdoing, and the bank itself argues that it had no way of knowing how 1MDB would use the funds it raised. Putrajaya today affirmed its commitment to keeping government GDP within the safe zone below the 55% ceiling set by the federal government. The Ministry of Finance was refuting a report published in the Nikkei Asian Review, which said that Malaysia was at risk of a credit rating downgrade exacerbated by debts at a state fund. The report pointed out that Malaysia's public debt had swelled to 54.5% of its GDP in 2015, perilously close to the 55% ceiling. According to the MOF, though, the government's debt is expected to continually fall to 53% of GDP in 2016 as it sets about tackling the problem. MOF says that the government will ensure that every ringgit spent is of value for money. AmBank Group Chairman Tan Sri Azman Hashim has ceased to be a substantial shareholder in ECM Libra Financial Group Berhad. In total, Azman disposed of 74.19 million shares in ECM Libra for an undisclosed sum, however, through 4 vehicles. That represents 26.1% of ECM Libra's issued share base. Recently, Azman's shareholding moves have been heavily scrutinized, following reports that he would not discount the possibility of buying ANZ Limited's stake in AMMB Holdings Berhad if the foreign bank decided to sell. It's been reported that ANZ was mulling over selling its AMMB stake as part of its efforts to exit minority stakes in Asia. In a Reuters article, however, it was implied that the Malaysian sale by ANZ was also due to AmBank's involvement in the 1MDB scandal. The ringgit rose to its highest in more than 9 weeks after significantly weak US job numbers tipped the odds against the Fed Reserve hiking its interest rates. In fact, all Asian currencies saw a boost after US job data showed employers creating 38,000 positions in May, the worst in almost 6 years. In her latest speech, Fed head Janet Yellen indicated that the Reserve has abandoned the possibility of raising rates in its June meeting, mindful of those weak May job numbers, but has not discounted July or September. Latest numbers show the ringgit declining slightly by 1.04% to 4.06 versus the greenback. Oil and gas juggernaut Royal Dutch Shell Plc said it is sticking to its game plan to deliver lower costs, lower spending, asset sales and profitable new projects. Outlining its planned asset sales, Shell said it would total $30 billion for the 2016 to 2018 period. Shell says it has earmarked up to 10% of its ONG production, including 5 to 10 country exits, for disposal. Further spending cuts also remain on the cards, with Shell saying it would spend $29 billion this year, down from an earlier projection of $33 billion. Shell also expects to see increased savings following its purchase of BG Group plc, a gamble made by CEO Ben van Beurden when oil prices were tanking. Savings from BG are expected to total $4.5 billion, higher than the earlier estimate of $3.5 billion.